Hi, athletes. Today we're going to look at histograms and frequency tables. But first, let's look at an example of a graph and what information do you think this graph is sharing? I noticed that the title says average female height per country, so I'm guessing it's about the height of females in different countries. And what are some of the strengths? And what are some of the weaknesses? You might want to pause and look at these. Now here's two more graphs. What do you see? What do you think? And what do you wonder? You might want to pause the video here to take some time to look at these graphs and compare them and see maybe how they're the same and how they're different. Okay, welcome back. Now this graph is called a histogram. And a histogram is a kind of graph that helps you see how often different amounts or ranges of things happen. It works by grouping these numbers into chunks and showing how many times something falls into each chunk using these bars. The taller the bar, the more often that chunk happened. So for example, this one is the tallest, so between 40 and 50 it happens the most. And this one's the shortest, so between 90 and 100 it happens the least. So why do we use histograms? Well, they're helpful because it makes it easier to spot patterns when we have a big set of numbers. It also helps you see what's normal, but also what's unusual. And it turns a bunch of numbers into a clear visual story, so your brain can understand it faster. So basically, a histogram helps you make sense of data by turning it into a picture that's quick and easy to read. So let's make our own histogram. So we're going to use this data from Josie. When she was visiting the art museum, she decided to measure the width of 25 paintings in centimeters. So here's her data. So I have 25 pieces of data. Now we're going to create a frequency table. So step one is to determine the interval of the groups. In order to do that, we look at the smallest value. So the painting with the smallest width was 9 centimeters, and the painting with the highest width was 54. We find the difference, so 54 minus 9 is 45, which is close to 50. So we're going to do intervals of 10 because counting by tens is easy, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That will give us 6 groups because we can have a group of 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. Now we're going to tally our data. So we'll go through our list of data values, and then we'll place a tally mark, which is like a line going up and down in the correct group. We're going to continue until we have all of these 25 paintings recorded in our table. But what about when I hit 50? Which group does 50 go into? Does it go into the 40 to 50 or the 50 to 60? Well, let's investigate that. First of all, I'm going to make my table. So this is my frequency table, and my title is width of paintings in centimeters. Here's my 25 pieces of data. So the first column is the width of paintings in centimeters. It's the same as my title. Then I have my tally marks, and then the frequency, which is the number of times it occurs. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the width of paintings, how we're going to write it. It's going to look a little confusing at first, but bear with me. So here I have 0 to 10. Remember, our groups go 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. But notice here I have width, the word width, because it means the width for the numbers. So this right here means less than. So remember, this means less than. And this one here is less than or equal to. So let's say I had the number 10. Would 10 go here? Well, let's see. Is 10 greater than or equal to 0? Yes. Is 10 less than 10? No. So 10 would go into this one because this one says that 10 is less than or equal to 10, and it's equal to 10. Same thing if you have 20, it would go in this one. If you have 30, in this one. 40, and 50. So see, you can count 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now we're going to do our tallying. So let's look at our first number. The first number is 21. So I'm going to put it here because 21 is between 20 and 30. Then we have 17, 52, 45, sorry, 52, 34, 36, 27, 19, 46, 51, 54, 48, 9, 25, 22, 14, 51. Oh, and here's that 50 that we were talking about earlier. So is the 50 going to go in this one or in this one? Hopefully you picked the bottom one because 50 is less than or equal to 50. So I put a line through it to show that that equals 5 now. 48, 42, 36, 38, 31, 32, and lastly 47. So now I'm going to write down the frequency, how often it occurred. So for this first one, I just have one tally mark. So the frequency is 1. There's 3 for the second row, then 4, 6, 6, and lastly 5. Now, what I want to do now is make sure that I didn't miss any numbers because I have so much data. Sometimes it's hard to make sure that we have them all. So I counted that I had 25 pieces of data here, and then I added up my frequencies, and the sum was 25. So therefore, I did not forget to record any of the pieces of data. Okay, so now we have our frequency table. We're going to make our histogram. For our histogram, we have our title, we have the x-axis, which is the width, and the y-axis, which is the frequency. Here I have my 0 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, just like this first column. And the frequencies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like my last column. So for the first one, there was 1. So I make a bar going up to the frequency of 1, or coloring in 1 square. The next one is 3, so I color in 3 squares. Then 4 squares, 6 squares, 6 squares, and 5 squares. Again, notice that these bars are touching because it's a histogram. It's a range between, so we don't have any gaps between the bars. And also notice that they are the same width. So what do you notice about this now? Well, I noticed that the bars for 30 centimeters to 40 centimeters and 40 centimeters to 50 centimeters are the same height. They're both at a frequency of 6. I also noticed that the width of the paintings that occurred at the most was between 30 centimeters and 50 centimeters. Again, there was 6 for each of them. I also noticed that there was only one painting that was less than 10 centimeters. And also, more than half of the paintings have a width greater than 30 centimeters, all of these. Now, just a reminder of what all graphs should include. We should have a title. So here you can see the title, the width of paintings in centimeters. A label for the x-axis. In this case, it's the width in centimeters. A label for the y-axis. Here I have my frequency. The scale on the x-axis should increase by even amounts. So notice I'm counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And the same for my frequency. They have to be equal amounts, and I'm counting by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The distance between each should be the same, and I can tell that they are because the bars are the same width. The same is true for the y-axis. You can see that the heights all increase by the same amount. The bars have been created correctly. Again, they're the same width, and also they're touching each other. There's no spaces in between. So I hope that helps with you understanding not only how to make a histogram, but why we make histograms and how it creates a nice, clear picture when you have a lot of data. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to watch more of these videos, check out my YouTube channel.